start today by expressing my deep gratitude to Beth Bagwell and Susan Stafford, our two full-time ITGA staff members. They have been hard charging since the start of the pandemic and haven't given up on ITGA once. Thank you both. I'd also like to thank our full-time volunteer board for the dedication, talents, and skills they continue to give this organization we all love. You are amazing, and I'm lucky to work with you and for all of you. Today, we will be talking about where we have been and where we are going as an organization. It is because of members like you that we have somewhere to go. Thank you for your continued commitment to the ITGA. You'll notice a call to action theme weaved throughout this webinar. We invite each and every one of you to join us in continuing to sustain and advance the ITGA. Your participation is needed and valued. Thank you again for joining us today. And now I will turn it over to Steve Patterson and Lisa Dvorak.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm Steve Patterson, the treasurer for the International Town Gown Association, as well as the mayor of the wonderful city of Athens, Ohio. I want to give just kind of a real brief overview of the revenue that comes into ITGA. Before I go there, like so many organizations across this nation and around the globe, that have been impacted by COVID-19, ITGA was also among those to where we experienced some rather difficult times and continue to experience the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. We were fortunate to receive the Payroll Protection Program funding, which was a loan, and recently we're notified that that will transition or has transitioned to a grant, which is wonderful news for ITGA. We've also had to pivot in a number of different ways, and most notably in 2020, our annual conference was virtual. And this year will also be virtual, which you'll be hearing more about as we go through today's webinar. The main sources of revenue that do come into ITGA are one, sponsorships and programs, sponsorships and partnerships. As you can see on the slide, we have a great partnership with Molson Coors and ITGA with the Great Plays, as well as the 2025 initiative grants, which are vital for social responsibility and a great partnership. Professional development, which goes on all the time within ITGA, but most notably the professional development programs that ITGA offers at our conferences. And then probably the bigger revenue streams that come into ITGA are the conference, the annual conference, as well as our memberships. You know, if you think about it, ITGA is one large family of college and university communities coming together, sharing ideas, sharing challenges, and sharing solutions. And a lot of that is done through a number of different mechanisms. Most notably is the Campus Community Connections newsletter, which comes out every month and is full of valuable information to all of us. The ITGA members listserv has become a platform to where there's a lot of exchange of challenges, who's doing what. It's almost a best practices platform. Our webinars that we host often, most notably the Courageous Conversations, is a valuable tool to hear the voices of others and what they're doing in their great college towns. But also you can always follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, and LinkedIn, and we encourage you to do so. That all said, one of the things that I think is vitally important to all of us as a community is to make sure that you renew your membership. You're going to be hearing in a little bit the new structuring of our membership rates, but also make sure you register for the conference, which is going to be a wonderful conference being hosted by in Wisconsin. So I'll leave it at that. I'll let that be announced by someone else on this webinar. It is my great pleasure to introduce the next individual, Executive Director, Member Emeritus, Lisa Dvorak.
Good morning. Steve, just a great deal of information that you've put out, and I am the former president of the ITGA, and we're very excited because today we're announcing several engagement opportunities to grow the ITGA. And here's where you, our members, can really help in our efforts to broaden the reach of the organization. So as I talk about these opportunities, start thinking about a company or an individual you know or have worked with who may be a good fit, and you can contact Beth at itga.org with the information. And so there's a number of categories here, and we're in the process of, we have some more exciting ones to announce, but for now, is to know that we have a membership category, which is affiliate, and that is really our business model, that it can be any type of company. It may be a food delivery service, it could be a credit union, it could be a consultant. There's also nonprofit organizations, neighborhood associations, government agencies, and those are the companies that are involved in any kind of service that's related to campuses and their communities. And so the next category that Steve talked about a little bit are the partners. And so the ITGA partners are very much, these are select companies that are dedicating to making the ITGA the premier resource in college towns, which we are. And those companies that can benefit from a relationship with the ITGA. And it could be in the form of grants. It can be preventative programs, social responsibility, like Steve mentioned. The Great Place Grant, which is an underage access prevention program that the ITGA administers. The next category is philanthropy, and that is direct give. And it could come just a direct give. It can come in the form of grants that would further the mission of the organization. And for example, the Big Give and an employee match program where an employee can donate to a nonprofit, which the ITGA is, and your employer in turn matches the gift. And last but not least is certainly the conference sponsor. We had a great conference last year, and we know we're going to have another one this year. And so what companies or individuals would be that where their product or service is of great benefit to the ITGA and to the members. And as I mentioned, these are just some of the opportunities that are underway, so stay tuned for more that are coming. And in the meantime, if you think about something, here's your call to action. Relationships are key in the ITGA, and this is where we need your help. Let us know. Who do you know or who do you suggest would be a good fit? And contact Beth at the ITGA.org. So Steve, back to you.
Thank you, Lisa. So ITGA has been working for quite some time on knowing that we need to rethink our membership fees for members, new members, and current members. But last year in 2020, when we thought we were going to bring this forward, we knew now is not the time. A lot of individuals are struggling and from a financial standpoint. So we are announcing now that there is a change. It's a modest change, but not a great change to our membership rates, which are effective now. You can see on the slide that there are a number of categories. There is the joint organizational town gown rates where we have it broken out by populations. University populations under 10,000, 10 to 30, and then over 30. We also have the single higher ed, as well as single municipalities rates that you can see right there. We have an affiliate rate, the individual member rate, which is $350. And then something that we've been exploring for a while, and now we're launching this, is the regional add-on rate, to where you can have multiple institutions of higher ed joining up with a municipality and a large university that have already become members, joint members, and you can be an add-on at a reduced rate of $250, or possibly two cities in close proximity to each other, or a city and a village, to come together and get, again, this add-on rate for each additional entity, municipality or college/university, to also join at the $250 rate, which is a way you can help offset these costs. So with that said, I would like to kick this to the ITGA standing committees.
Good afternoon. I'm Britany Waddell. I am president-elect for ITGA and also assistant planning director for the city of Raleigh, North Carolina. And I'm serving as chair of our membership committee. So I just want to give you some highlights related to the membership committee and what we've been doing this year. Our priorities were retention and recruitment, and really looking at targeted outreach to our new and prospective members, hoping to find ways to update and create new marketing materials for ITGA to keep those current, to begin initiatives such as past member check-ins, where we can have that outreach to members who used to be engaged with ITGA, who may not be active right now, doing one-on-one recruitment, virtual meet and greet opportunities, and basically forming like a welcoming committee for new members coming into the ITGA community. We're in a new environment. We're not getting to see each other face to face, but we want to have those opportunities for us to be able to still reach out to you. Targeted outreach to our existing networks, I think, are going to be very important in the coming year. Looking to our current members to look at peer institutions, including those that are HBCUs, Hispanic serving institutions, and Jesuit colleges. Also looking to neighboring municipalities and even community colleges that might be in your area. Looking to our members to really take the initiative to reach out to their networks and spread the word of ITGA. And finally, one of the bigger initiatives we're on, which is still ongoing, is the heavy lift of exploring, expanding our international membership and looking for future collaborations with UK TGA. So that will be on the horizon. You'll hear more about that in the future. Just in closing, one thing that I want to throw out is that we really need to highlight the fact that sustaining ITGA is not only a role for board members, that we really, the continued success of our organization really does depend on the active engagement and involvement of all of our members. So please follow up with board members and with the staff of ITGA for opportunities or any ideas that you have to engage. We're really excited for what's coming in the next year, and happy to have you along for the ride. Cory?
Thanks, Britany. Good afternoon. My name is Cory Peterson. I am our director for the Office of Neighborhood Life here at Georgetown. You'll notice that I am not next on the slide. It's actually Julie, who is the director of Community Affairs at DePaul University, and she can't be with us tonight or today. She's actually in the UK, and her is a little bit of spotty reception with Zoom these days. So, but wanted to talk a little bit about her committee that she's been working and dedicated so much time to, which is on communications and really raising the profile of ITGA. One of the things that they really desperately would like more on is some writers, folks to help us write and tell the story of the town-gown relations and the successes that we're all having across the country and across the world. Some content generators, particularly a graphic artist. If any of you have some graphic talents, whether that be with static graphics or even with video, that would be a lovely addition to this committee. So if you're interested in any of that, please definitely reach out to either Beth or Julie. As Britany had said, we would greatly appreciate that sort of help. I'll talk a little bit about the Student Leadership Committee. So ours is trying to raise the profile of our students and young leaders. It's as we've a board come together, we realized that one of the voices we were missing was that of our students. We talk a lot about the town, we talk a lot about the gown, but the students are sort of what that meshes that together. And so with the help of my colleague, Steve Patterson, we've hosted 2 webinars this past semester, Courageous Conversations with 5 students, 3 from the United States, 1 from Canada, 1 from the UK, to really give a rounded out perspective about what it's like to go to school during coronavirus and during this global pandemic. Those were recorded. If you'd like to see those, they are on the ITGA website, along with a whole host of other resources. And we're planning to have 2 follow-up conversations, one in February and another in April, with those same 5 students. And we would invite you to please come and listen in on that, as they've really opened up themselves and been very vulnerable in sharing their sort of perspective from a university, how it's felt from the university side and also from the city side. And so we would welcome and encourage you to participate in that. If you have students that would like to participate in future conversations or in ITGA, please reach out to me. I would love to get their contact information and to reach out to them to invite them into one of our next conversations. And with that, I'm going to turn it back to Britany, I think, maybe.
So actually, we are going to introduce you to Jacqueline and Dr. Bergen, who is going to talk to us about our ITGA virtual conference.
Thank you so much, Beth, and it's a pleasure to be in all of your company. I'm Jacqueline Schramm. I'm in Public Affairs here at Marquette University, and on behalf of our illustrious conference co-chairs, Rana Altenberg, Vice President for Public Affairs at Marquette University, Peggy Williams-Smith, President and CEO at Visit Milwaukee, Tammy Garrison, Community Affairs Director for Molson Coors, and Keith Stanley, Executive Director of Milwaukee's Riverside Partners. Marquette University, with the City of Milwaukee as partner, are very honored to host the annual ITGA conference this year. And we know while you'll not be able to experience our campus or the streetscapes of our vibrant city in person, this constellation of partners really have the vision to bring you unique virtual opportunities, both within and outside the conference tracks. And delivering on this vision will be our diverse planning committee endorsed by President Lovell of Marquette University. We've all been meeting regularly since the beginning of last year and ramping up considerably this fall. We know the ITGA conferences we follow are enormous shoes to fill, and the sentiment our planning committee all share is that we will do our best to honor the quality, the creativity, and merrymaking past conferences have delivered on. Dr. Daniel Bergen, Executive Director of Community Engagement in the Office of Economic Engagement at Marquette, is one of our esteemed planning committee members, and I'd like to introduce him now to share a little more on our collective efforts around the conference.
Thank you, Jacqueline, and certainly you are incredibly gracious and thrilled to partner with you and, of course, Beth and others at ITGA on bringing this conference to Milwaukee and Marquette. So as an attendee of past conferences, I wanted to acknowledge the breadth of topics in which ITGA members have been immersed, and particularly including neighborhood and government relations, off-campus student housing and living, anchor initiatives, campus safety and security, among many other things. And so truly our campuses are critical to the communities in which we live, and our communities are just as crucial to our abilities as universities and institutions to thrive. So it's been my pleasure to participate in the planning committee this year, including work around the ITGA tracks, which resonate with me personally as a musician and the city at large because of the musical theme. Milwaukee's produced some of our country's most prominent musicians in bands, including the Bodines, the Violent Femmes, Steve Miller, Les Paul, and even surprisingly to me, I did not realize this until we started planning, Liberace. So music plays a critical role in how we build community in our city. And in fact, I have many memories of attending Summerfest, which is an 11-day long annual musical festival that attracts between 800 and 900,000 people a year. The committee developed a call for proposals, identifying tracks that capture that spirit, infusing music into their titles, and inviting you to consider the various ways in which you engage your universities and communities through innovative partnerships and unique programs. We anticipate that our current climate around health and racial equity will figure prominently in the proposals, which we look forward to receiving in very, very large numbers. So please, please take some time, go to the site and submit your proposals. Finally, as a Catholic Jesuit university, we embrace the opportunity to share and celebrate our mission of advancing faith in service to others and upholding the centuries-long Jesuit tradition of engaging urban communities through education. So with that, I'll turn it over to Beth Bagwell. She's our great partner at ITGA and the executive director. So thank you, Beth.
Well, I have the great honor and privilege of working with all of you and our members. And hello, my name is Beth Bagwell. I am the executive director of ITGA, and we have been busy. We've been meeting behind the scenes. There's a lot of things going on that you will see now and other things that you'll see very soon. We think about you all the time, and we're just so honored to have this privilege to talk to you today. And as you've heard and already know, COVID has impacted our lives in many different ways. I have been in meetings with some of you while you were teaching your kids or taking care of your pets at home, also known as our office. At a more professional level, you have shared how your communities have been impacted. Due to the extreme health risks, colleges and universities have been forced to send students home, close campuses, and cancel nearly all institution-sponsored community activities. These decisions have profound impacts on the businesses and residential communities around campuses globally, from small college towns to major metropolitan centers and education corridors. How to rebuild these communities and revive the local economy is a unique town-gown challenge that will require partnership, teamwork, and creative solutions. We are very proud to announce the Town Gown Turnaround Series, which will focus on many of the different aspects of campus and community life. We are launching this series on January the 17th from noon to 1 o'clock. The webinar will highlight how developments and partnerships can turn around downtown areas, increase retail sales, extend campus life boundaries, and make positive impacts in the communities we represent. As I was searching the internet, I recently found a program that Cornell graduates started, hashtag Save College Town campaign, that had already raised around $40,000. The app allowed it for online contributions that help keep businesses going during the pandemic. One of their lines on their website is "Save Our Big Red Memories." This is just one example of the many ways of the many different programs or initiatives that we can share and learn about and exchange with each other. One of the biggest assets that we have within ITGA is our network. We communicate through our listserv, Zoom calls, webinars, and at conferences, both regional and international. If you have an idea that you would like to share for this webinar, please send me an email about the initiative by Friday, January the 15th. This series will address a myriad of campus community challenges we are facing due to COVID. If you have successful partnerships, programs, or initiatives that you would like to share with others, please send them to me as we plan this series around different topics and themes and demonstrate our resiliency as we pivot and help in this town gown turnaround effort. So we're very excited to announce this initiative, and we hope that this is going to really resonate with you all as you look at what you're doing what you did during COVID and what you're doing this year, because we all need to learn from each other. And finally, Douglas, if you want to do the next slide, we are just going to, we thought it would be helpful because we have action items on each one of our presentations to just do a checklist of things that we're asking you that you might want to be participated in, or what we'd hope that you'll do as a result of this webinar. Renew your annual membership once you receive an invoice from Susan Stafford. Register for the conference to get the early bird rate by January the 21st. Register for the free Town Gown Turnaround Series on January the 27th. Submit a proposal for the virtual ITGA conference by Friday, February the 19th. Provide 2 sponsorship or partner leads to me by February the 28th. And volunteer by contacting a committee chair, Britany Waddell, Julie Emms, who was not able to join us today, or Cory Peterson. And we would really like to hear from you now. You've heard from us. So we actually have worked very hard to keep on time. So we have 5 minutes and would like to know if you have any questions for us. And I don't know if I look at the Q&A, I don't see any questions there. I know that some people have communicated in the chat, just telling everybody hello. And I love seeing the names of people who have joined us today. But if you have any questions, if you'll just put it in the chat or in the Q&A, we will be more than happy to answer them.
And Beth, we have our first question. Do you have more information on the Town Gown turnaround on your website? I know my downtown association will be interested.
Oh, I love that. Very good. We don't, because we're actually launching this on the 27th of this month. And so actually, no, I take that back. If you go to the homepage of our website, you can sign up for the webinar, but that is where we are right now. This is a brand new initiative that is just been minted, and we were able to get someone to do the graphic design for us. And I'm thinking that it has more of an organic design to it, that it will sort of organically bubble up. But as far as if you have something with the downtown series and you would like to share, please send that to me. Just send me an email. You know me, I'm pretty good about responding, and then I will set up a time and we can chat.
There's another question, Beth. My university has a city mandated neighborhood group. Under the new membership structure, will this group now need to join separately, or does our university membership extend to them? Either way works.
Steve, are Susan, is Susan on? Steve or Susan want to answer that? Susan, sure. Are you with us? Okay.
I would, if there is a neighborhood organization within a municipality, you know, it is my belief that is part of the city, the community. Now, they would certainly, to attend the conference, pay the conference rate to whatever that rate may be, to attend the conference. But as a member under ITGA, you are part of your community's fabric. And so that would fall under your community's membership or joint membership with the university or college, whatever that membership is, that I believe that you would fall under that as well. But I would certainly reach out and engage with the municipality or with the university to get a little bit more guidance on that. But that's my thoughts, Beth, on that, is you fall under that community's membership.
I agree, Steve, especially since it's city mandated. I think that's the key to that.
Yeah. Can I just make one more comment about that? I'm sorry, Emily, I didn't mean to interrupt. If you'll go back, not now, but when we're going to send this PowerPoint out, and actually it's going to be on the website. So if you go back to the rates where it says Joint City University, which is really, that rate really reflects the mission of ITGA, that rate that it shows you there, that would be what the city and the university would pay. I just wanted to, I don't think we had that clearly stated, and I just wanted to mention it.
And there's another question. Can non-ITGA members join the webinar? I'd like to invite our Downtown Association Director.
Absolutely.
And then Douglas, if you want to go back to that membership slide, there's a follow-up question when you were describing the joint rates, just so each pays 500. That's the question. Yes,
so this is the rate that you would click on based on your population, but that rate would be paid by the city and the university. And probably the next question is going to be, how is that paid? We can send an invoice with that rate together. Or you will be able, we're launching a new website by the end of this month. All of these rates will be on there. But so when you look at if your population is under 10,000, then the city would pay the $450 and then the university would pay the $450. So it would be that total.
And then the question is the population size. So Steve was saying yes to keep, but I think it's important for people to understand. And the population size is institution or the municipality?
For the town gown turnaround, it's the institution. For the if you look at, so there's two categories under this new membership rate. There's the joint organization, there's the joint, and then there's the single. If you're paying the joint, you're paying that together, which would be what we used to have as a joint city university. If you're paying the single, then the population is for the institution. If you're paying for the municipality, the population is for the municipality.
And if I may, Director Bagwell, it would be for the joint, it's falling under the university's population.
That's correct.
Of population of 10,000 or less, 10 to 30, and then over 30 for the university. It was easier for us to do it this way as opposed to try and figure out another formula to take into account the municipality size.
Thank you, Steve.
These have been great questions. I encourage you all to continue to send any in to Beth. Again, this webinar will be posted on the YouTube channel. I think that Beth will be able to send out both the PowerPoint presentation and the link to the YouTube. So we encourage you to share with others. But we know we're out of time now, which was quick. We're all like, we can do this. But thank you all so much for attending today. And more importantly, thank you for being members of ITGA. We wish you well.